replace ltrim, rtrim, lpad, rpad. Okay, then the null value substitutions ones, nvl, nvl2, coalesce, and nullif. These we had done. Character functions very simple: lower, upper, init cap. Okay. Now we'll restart from here. Number functions. Okay. So first is ABS. ABS stands for absolute. So whatever numeric value you put here, it'll give you the absolute value, right? Understand absolute, right? Negative minus will not be shown, right? Okay. Next is this something I found. This is called ceiling, CEIL, ceiling. So this will give you the next highest number. For any decimal, this will give you the next highest integer value, absolute number. Okay, no decimals. Even if I put 25.1, it will give me 26. Okay. Uh, I'll be sharing this note with you. So I'm going a little fast because this is very simple, right? Div is division. That's how you divide. Select 15, div 5 will give you 3, right? Okay. Next is these two are very interesting. Okay, one thing you have to remember here. Okay, all these functions, for example's sake, we are taking absolute values here and then showing you. But you can put any column name here. Why are we using all these functions? Because to help us with our queries, right? SQL queries. In our SQL queries, we'll not be querying from dual. We will be querying from actual tables, right? So whenever you encounter any numeric data, you can use all these functions. That is what it means. Okay. Next value. Next. Correct. Greatest. Next greatest integer value. Okay. I think there's one floor also. I am not sure. Mhm. Opposite of trunk. No, no, no. Trunk. See, trunk will give you. Trunk has a format. A trunk can give you decimal places. Here you will only get integer value. Okay. Okay, next, these two function just these are very interesting functions, these two, greatest and least. Why? Because you can put a list of numbers and it'll give you the greatest will give you the greatest number and the least will give you the least number. Here it is least, sorry. Least will give you the least number, right? But why I say it is interesting is instead of the numbers, if you say you have a you have an employee table where or whatever salesperson table where you have a salary and commission, right? Two columns, right? So uh, you want to know who's or whatever you want to. So there are two columns there. You want to find out something like, or maybe more than two, maybe this is not a correct example. There, say there are six columns in a table which have number data, numeric data. Okay, so for every record you want to find out which is the greatest of them. You understand the question? This is a interview question which people generally want to ask to check if they know, if the interviewee knows about these functions or not. Okay, so there is a table where you have five or six columns of numeric data, number data, and uh, you want to the question is you want to find out the greatest number among those in a single record, which is the greatest number among those columns. Understood? Not the other way around. When we are doing max or some other function like that, we are comparing one record with another record. But here in the same record, which is the greatest number, this you can. use greatest. So for example, s- returns the greatest number in a list. Okay, now in the list you can put s- columns from the same row, right? So I can put salary, salary plus commission, commission from dual. Sorry, not from dual, from sales, salesperson. So for every salesperson, it will give me out of these three values, which is the highest value, right? I mean, understood what I'm trying to say? Similarly, so this is why it's very useful, because there is no other function which can do this within the record, searching for the greatest numeric value or the least numeric value. So remember this. Okay, moving on. So yeah, in maximum, what you do, you compare a single column data, right? When you say select max of salary from employees, what are you doing here? You are comparing, yeah, compares all the records for the particular, for the column salary. But here what you are doing, compares all, not only one column, only one row, all the given columns for the particular row. Okay, so per row you will get one value here. If there are 100 salespersons, so this query will fetch you 100 records. Okay, but here how many records will it fetch? If there are 100 salesperson or 100 employees, how many records will this query fetch? Correct. You get the difference? Okay. Greatest least done. Next is mod. MOD mod. Mod is the remainder after the numeric division. Pretty simple. 29.7 mod will give you how much? 1, right? 7 into 4 is 28. Next is trunk. Trunk and round. Yesterday, that day we had touched upon it, but just for clarity sake, I'm doing it again. So now this trunk and round you will find in date functions also. So this trunk and round, they take numeric value also and date value also. Now first we will go, get to see how they deal with the numeric value. So so removes the digits after the given precision value. Now this thing is called precision. This value after comma what you get is called precision. Okay, what is it called? Precision. Yes. So trunk is very simple. If it gives you precision 2, that means these two should be removed and you get the rest of the number. If this is given 3, exactly. Just eliminate the decimal points. Okay. This you might need this, right? Say in case of there is some monetary data, we don't store monetary data for 5 or 6 decimals, right? This much rupees and this many paise. So it is always two decimal, up to two decimal, right? So if the calculation yields something more than that, then we can trunk. Okay. Similarly, round. Round is the number according rounds the number according to the precision value. Now uh, precision value here is 2, right? So it'll round, it'll take the last two digits here and round it up, so that here it is, since it is 9898, so 89 will round up to 9, right? 889 will round up to 9. Understood? Okay. Similarly, here 89 will round up to 9. Okay, that's what round does. Okay. So these are the basic number functions. There are more functions also. You might encounter them, but these are the basic ones which everyone needs to use. Okay. See, you have functions for add also. Like you don't have to say select 5 plus 3 equal from dual, giving you 8. You can give select add within brackets 5 3 and it will give you 8. So very basic. That's okay. Nothing great about those functions. So uh, next is date function. We had started with the date function that day. Sysdate returns current date. Okay, this current date, by current date I mean Oracle server date. Okay, now let's come back to toDate and toChar. We were discussing it that day, right? So let's start with toDate. These are conversion functions. Okay, toDate, toChar, and then we will have toNumber also a little later. These are conversion functions. What do you mean by conversion functions? It means, I'll write it down here. Conversion functions means convert data of one data type to another. Examples: to date, to char, to number. Okay, let's start with to date. This converts a date which is in string type, that is varchar type, to date value. Okay, it takes three arguments. You can have three, you can have two. Actually, it takes minimum two arguments. Now, did you understand this? We input a date. Sorry, come again. No. Date is a data type, right? I had discussed data types with you earlier. Date, what are the data types of date? You can have date time, you can have timestamp, all these things, right? Character is string or varchar, as you know it. So, I mean, character is different, varchar is different, but this is a string data type. I mean, it can have anything. Okay. Why we need this, you will get to know a little later. So, when I say, I think you had asked this one that day, right? If I want to change the format of a given date, um, how I can do that? Yeah. So that you will get in toChar. In toDate, what you will get is you can convert the given date value into a string value. Sorry, I said ulta. Sorry, given string value into a date value. This is toDate, right? So, and what is this format here? Just pay attention. The difference between toDate and toChar, the difference in output depends on the format. Why? Because in here in toDate, the format qualifies the input string or the input date type, date value. So when we give a date value, we have to specify the format that will give you the value, which this is like the default Oracle format, okay, of date. But what, that is a string and we are converting into a date. So why do we need this? Because for Oracle to understand out of this what is what, I mean, what is 20, what is APR, what is 2020. Okay, if we specify the input format here, then Oracle will understand 20 is the date, APR is the month, 2020 is the year. Similarly, we can have similarly we can have different format also, right? We can have date in this format, but then we have to specify the format. So both of these will give you the same result. Okay, so this is to date. Next, let's go to to care. Now to care is the ulta, takes input as date format and gives output as a string in desired format. Now it's not date format, date value. So this, the same thing we'll do. We'll just do the reverse of it, right? Here, whatever output we are getting, we will put here as our input. And then here, this format is what you want your output to look like. So here the format was what your input looks like, and here the format is what you want your output to looks like. So that is the basic difference, right? You want your output because what it is giving is a character, right? So now for the same date you can have various different formats, whatever format you want. This was your question that day, right? So you can have any format. And you had asked a very interesting question. So this is the answer to that. From toCare, you can find out the day of the date for any date. This is also a date format. Okay, you can find out day specifically. You can find out month specifically. You can find out year also specifically. Try it. Mhm. There are two arguments, right? This is your value. This is your format, right? So similarly, for any given date, you want to know the day, which day of the week it was. So this is how it will function. Just give the format as day. So it will only give you the day. Okay. This might get asked in the interviews. Is a good trick question. So clear about to date and to care? Okay, good. Next is last day. I think we did discuss this. Select last day sys date from returns the day of date for the last day of the current month, right? It's here we have put sys date. That's why I have written current month. If you put any other something like yeah, we will put this. Hmm. What? First day. First day is always one. Why do you want to know that? I mean, why do you want a function to tell you that? Why do we have a last day function? Because different months have different last days, right? February will have 28 or 29, March will have 31, April will have 30, right? First day is always one, right? Did I understand your question or you were asking something else? Oh, you want to use the two functions in combination, you're saying, is it? You can use that. Yeah, you can use that. Let me complete this. Mhm. You have months between next day, last day, everything. Yeah. You can find out, see, and these functions, right? You can have any number of combinations on them. You can have a combination of to date, to care. You can have a combination of, like you want to, for example, here you can have something like select to care last day. Sorry, come again. Yes, yes, yes. Here in next day, instead of last day, you can put, sorry, here you can put next day. Yeah, that's correct. This is what you were asking. Okay. Ah, good. Right. So this will give you first of May. It will give you because this is April, right? So this will give you 1st of May. Yeah. So all these you can practice. Just practice this. You'll find out. There are many things that can be done with date functions. Months between, these are very commonly used functions. Returns the number of months between two values. So you give two values, it gives you. Yeah, yeah, I'll definitely put in sort of an exercise for this. Yeah. So date one and date two. So it'll take two values from. So this will give you even in decimal, even if it's like if I have 30th April and 30th May, the answer is one, right? But if I have 30th April and 25th of August, the answer is not an absolute value, right? So it'll be like two or 2 point something, 3 point something, something like that. You can try this. Okay. Add months is again, yeah, okay. Current timestamp is like sys date. It'll give you a current timestamp. You understand timestamp, right? Data type, hour, minute, second, everything. Okay. Now let's come to round again. Yeah, date will end at I mean day, month, year, right? Timestamp gives you hour, minute, second, everything. Yes, 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 yes. What is that? It's called H6, right? You can get up till six places. H6, those are called. Okay, in timestamp. Next round. Again, I told you, right? Round can be used with numbers also. Round can be used with dates also. Now, what does round do with date values? So, round returns date rounded to the unit specified by the format model. So, what? So, you give a format here. It is either year, Q is for quarter, month, date, day, anything, right? So, 22 August 03, right? If I round it for the year means it'll go to the next year first day, right? Similarly, quarter means next quarter first day. Month means next month first day. So that's how it'll do. Trunk will lessen it, right? It'll decrease the value. So if I truncate it for this year means it'll go to the first day of this current year, 03. If I truncate it for this quarter means it will go to the first day of this quarter. You understand the quarter distribution in a calendar, right? Yeah, first Jan to March, April to May, April to June, July to September, October to December. That's how it is. Hmm. Yeah, DDD. Okay, DDD is what is full August? That is this. This is the format MONTH. This is MON. Okay, this format is. You can you know you are very fascinated with this, right? Okay. You can practice just a little bit of practice, then you will understand. 22 August 03. This is from, what is this format? This is DDMONYY. Okay, but you want like 22 August 2003. Yes, and YYYY. So trunk and round, trunk will just take it to the first day of the whatever format is specified. Round will take it to the first day of the next format, right? Then two number is very simple. It it just gives you, it just converts the given string value to a number data. Okay, and you can assign whatever you want the decimal places. I mean, whatever format it might be. So, okay. So the format is always like this. In 9, it is specified in 9. So here it is also, it qualifies the, what D here? Single D here. I don't think single D is a specified format. You can give day, DAY. Single D you can give here. Where is that? You had asked that question, right? Here, right? If you give here, single D is works here. So it will just give you the initial. It will just give you S. Okay. So see, these are specified, these are date formats, but all the functions don't take all the different date formats. Okay. It might be different. Okay. Two number is, you try out. If you have any doubts, let me know, because it's obviously, I mean, there are lots of combinations that you can have. I'll try to formulate some questions which will I mean, which will uh, sort of force you to use combinations of these functions. So then your understanding will be pretty clear. Okay. But first you have to understand what does the function do basically, right? So that's why I've given only simple examples here. Two number, simple. Sometimes we get data in string, and then say we have to insert it or update some column in a table which only takes number data types, right? So there two number helps. Understood? Because I mean, it's just the format. Okay, and that's how you specify the numeric format. No, no, it doesn't work like that. You cannot truncate it here. Try to understand. I'll explain what it is. You remember to date? What was the format doing in to date? It was telling Oracle what this date means, right? What this value means. Similarly, it was not telling Oracle what happened. So we were inputting a string and we were getting a date. But any string we input, Oracle will not understand which part is the month and which part is the year and which part is the day. So we had to specify the format here. See, Oracle, this is the string and this is the format it is in. Convert it into a date, right? Similarly, we have to do in the to number. This is the string. This is the format it is in. Convert it into a number data. Understood? We are not going to truncate it or round it, or we are not going to do any modification with the value. We are going to print the value as it is, just convert it from a string data type to a number data type. Understood? Okay. Okay, so that ends these functions. Then there are two very important and very interesting functions that I want to discuss before we go into views. First is decode, next is case. These also come in functions. This can be used in select as well as in other DML statements. All these functions can be used in DML statements also: insert, update, delete, everywhere. Okay. Um, let's come to decode. You understand if then else, if loops. Have you ever worked or practiced if loops, if else loops? Okay. Hmm. Okay. You can have multiple ifs also. How is it? A simple if is if condition something, if satisfies, it gives something result, right? Result. Then else. No, no. Else is the catch-all. That means it ends there. That's the last. Okay, I'll explain. Let's not do it in a very theoretical fashion. I have the examples. You will very easily understand. Okay. So there is a employee uh, table, say a salesperson. That makes more sense here. Okay, salespersons have sales and then commissions, right? Whatever, salary and then commission. So COMM is the commission column. Okay. What it means is, okay, first look at this line. If this is my if then else block. Okay. If com is null, then I want to print no commission earned. Else commission earned. That means if there is some value, whatever value it is, if there is some value in the column com, he has earned some commission. If there is no value in the column com, he has not earned any commission. That is what I want to print, right? So in Oracle, in a select query also, this is how we can implement it. Select, decode. First you give the column name, then the condition, com null, com null. Okay, this means column name, then what value you are looking for, what definite value you are looking for. Okay, no, let me complete. What so there are some limitations here. You cannot give greater than or less than or any kind of things like, so uh, if com greater than 100, then you print good mission earned, or whatever, good performance, whatever, good performance, else average performance. Now, if we want to implement this, we cannot implement it in decode. Why? Because decode only compares in equal to operator. Okay, only equal to operator. We cannot do this in decode. Be done. So in in decode, okay. So what is the format here? We can first we give the column name, then what is the condition that we are satisfying, then if it satisfies, what happens, and else if it doesn't satisfy, what happens, right? So this is the same as this, right? I'll just delete this here because later on when you see this, you'll be confused. Understood decode? Simple? Okay. You can have multiple levels here as well, like if, then, then, else if, then, else if, then, else. Okay. Yeah, multiple ifs. These are not nested, these are just multiple. Nested means else, so going inside something like subquery. We use subqueries, right? Subqueries are nested because we are having a query inside a query. Hmm. Nested is something different. This is just multiple ifs. Else if, these are I mean termed as else if. For example, selects decode units sold. How many units have been sold from the seller table, right? So first, if units sold equals to 1, you print 1 unit sold. If it is equals to 2, then you print 2 units sold. If you or else you don't know, then you say sale unknown. Okay. So this is how you use the decode function. Okay. Then, okay, case. Sorry. Hmm. I think I have it in the differences somewhere. I had written. Okay, I'll put it in the differences. Okay. Next, case. Case also deals with if then else, but then it is more dynamic because it can have any operator that you want. Okay. For example, the basic one, the same thing here. How does it look in case? Select case. Case is the keyword. Column name, when, null, then no commission earned, else commission earned, end. There is always a end for a case. Okay. From employees. You can use this. Okay. You getting it? So one of the common interview question is, so what are the one of the common interview questions is, they will check your understanding of decode and case, and what should be used where. Okay. So you can give, this is one of the perfect examples of what should be used where. If we have to do a greater than or less than comparison, we should go for case. If we have only an equal to, then we can go for decode. We can go for case also, we can go for decode also. Okay. S- Apart from that, case can do a lot of other things, like case is more dynamic. Case can, hmm, hmm. Why you have decode? Okay, because case is syntactically it is more complicated. Okay, you have to use when, and all these things you have to use in case. Okay, you don't need, decode is very readable, right? Decode is very understandable and very precise, right? From a developer's point of view, decode is very precise. Why we have, I mean, I don't know. I mean, performance wise, decode is better in those cases when you just have to substitute. Okay, performance wise, decode takes less resources and less time. you can mention that. Okay, where decode works, it is less resource consuming than case, because it keeps on doing. Case executes only after all the conditions are read. Decode keeps doing it one after another, like unit sold, one unit sold, so it is not going to come back to this condition anymore. Unit sold equals to 2, 2 units sold, it's not going to come back then. Yeah, you understand why it is. In case, what happens is, if I had written the same statement in case, it would pass through the whole statement and then go back again to the first one and then start substituting. Understood? That's how Oracle works. Okay. So when I say case is more dynamic and more useful than decode, what do I mean? So look at this example. Select product, price. This we are selecting from which table? Okay, let's give a table name. Product table. Okay, let's break it down. So I've given an example here of the same thing that I was mentioning, right? Then, okay, product and price is fine. These are two columns in the table. Then we are creating another column for our result set, which is product category. We are just creating this. This is a derived column. It's called a derived column. Okay, what's a derived column? Derived column, a column in a result set which is not directly fetched from the underlying table of the query. You understood? There is no such column in the table product. But we want to see it in our result set. So that's why we have used this. We've just given this alias. Hmm. So what we are doing with case, we are giving, we are comparing here. Price is less than 1,000, then we are giving it the category name economy. Price between 1,000 and 10,000, we are giving category premium. Else, for everything else, the price it is exclusive, right? So this we have achieved from case, but all this between and all these comparisons, we cannot do it in decode. Understood? This is a very simple but very good example of why case is more dynamic and more useful than decode, right? So decode case is done and all the single value functions are also done. Okay, is it? Let's, okay. We'll get back to joins. Let's complete the views, SQL views. Okay, it's also very simple. It's just a select query. Okay, we will go to, we'll check the syllabus after we complete this. Then we will see how to go about it. Okay. Okay. Now SQL views. What is a view? What is a view in SQL? A view is a virtual table. What do you mean by virtual? Correct. So it 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 looks and works like a table, but it doesn't occupy storage space like an actual table does. An actual table does occupy storage space, right? The data is there in the table, so it does consume some storage, and It is a database object also, the table, right? But view is a database object which is a virtual table. So it is basically the result set of the underlying query, which is then treated as a table. What do you mean by that? For example, I am creating a view senior underscore citizens. Okay. As so, this is the format of a view. How do you create a view? You create a view by using a select query. Okay, this query can have any number of tables. This query can have any number of columns. This query can have whatever. You can use joins here. You can use group by here. Everything you can use in this query. Okay, and you can when I say you can use joins means you can use multiple tables here, right? So this will create a this statement will create a view called senior underscore citizens. Now you might know what does that mean? What view? What I mean, view is there to. Why do we create all this? I will, I'll explain that. What is the advantage of this? What is the disadvantage of this? All that. Why do we have views? If we can query this same data from the table itself, why do we have views? No, to answer your question, no, that doesn't make any sense. You cannot have a view without a underlying table. Okay. Hmm. Why are you jumping so far? I mean, so much ahead. Have you read? Have you studied views already? Then, I mean, what is this question? Delete view means what? You are not clear about the basics of the view, and why you are suddenly jumping to deleting the view? Huh? Mm. It doesn't affect the table at all. Okay, it doesn't affect the table at all. But if it is the other way around, if you are deleting or dropping, not deleting, uh, deleting is a DML statement, right? Deleting data from the table doesn't affect the view because it will then just show empty data, empty result set, but it will still exist. But if you are dropping an underlying table, then the view gets affected. You remember delete and drop difference? What is the difference? Which one is the DDL? Which one is the DML? Okay, DDL, right? So drop means the whole object is removed, right? Yeah. So if you're removing an object, say if there was no table called customers only, or maybe when I created this view, the table was existing, but then later on after a few days, this table someone has dropped. So this becomes unstable, right? It doesn't. This is a dependent kind of object. So this is of no meaning. So okay, let's come back to the beginning. So why do we use views? We create the view. Our view name is senior underscore citizens. Now we can query the data from this senior underscore citizens instead of customers. Okay. So just understand. Now the customer table will have data for people of all ages, right? Starting from 1 till 100. But I only want data for customers who are greater than or equal to 60 in age, right? So if I create a view and then I query that view, I am saving time, right? Because this view will only have data of customers who are of that age group. If I had queried uh, from the table, s- yeah, say not instead of select star, say name and address, right? If I had done the same thing from instead of the view, if I had done it from the table, so the table will have say 1,000 records. Customers has 1,000 records, and there are only 500 records which are age greater than 70 or age greater than 60. Okay, but here it will have to parse through all the 1000 records, but here it will only parse through, because since we are accessing the data from a view, it will only parse through less number of records. So it is, which is better, I mean, which will consume less time and less resources, this one, right? Yeah, that's why we have a, that's the main reason of having a view. And one more reason of, now view, as I said, it doesn't store its data anywhere, right? That means whenever we call a view, implicitly the result set is created at that particular time. Like for the customers, right now there are what I said, 1000 records. Okay, and out of that 500 records are greater than or equal to 60. Tomorrow another 10 records were added which are age greater than equals to 60. So tomorrow when I fetch data from this view, yesterday it was giving me 500 records, right? Today it will give me 510 records. So what I mean to say is the result set is created as and when we access the view. Okay, understood? Are you able to understand this point? Okay, so that's how, I mean, it always gives you the most recent data. You don't have to worry about anything like, am I missing out on anyone else's commits or something like that, right? It always gives you the most recent data. That is what I have given here in the points. Advantages of a view: no storage consumed as it's a virtual table, already explained. Always fetches the most recent data as the underlying queries run afresh whenever the view is called. Okay, implicitly, yes. That's how Oracle handles, right? Can have any required combination of columns from many number of tables, right? So when you're, instead of you know that there is a particular combination of columns and tables, or there is a particular join that you're going to not join, but particular combination of columns and tables that you would like to run every day, right? Instead of coming every day and writing that same query, you create a view with that query and then run that view every day. So for repetitive activities, view is very good. Can have, okay, create force view command is used to create a view without the base table. Okay, this is what you were mentioning, but this is the answer to your question, but it's a very theoretical question. It doesn't help us in any way. Okay, we can create a view and then we can sort of alter. Okay, all these other ddl commands, alter, delete, drop, everything, they work for views also, just as they work for tables, right? Views that are not updatable can be modified in using, okay. What is meant by view updatable views? Now, mhm, when a table gets updated, obviously the view gets updated. But if I update a view, if it's the other way around, if I update a view, can I be sure that that updated data passes on to the table? Good. But I can update a view if it is a simple view. These are called simple views because it is just accessing one table, single table views, right? I can update the view. I can update the view, okay? But I cannot expect that data to be passed on to the underlying table. That's the difference between updating a view and updating a table which has a view on it, okay? But I cannot update all kinds of views. If there are joins, if there are grouping, if there are multiple tables basically in case of, only in case of simple views like this can be updated. But if I had if I was querying two tables in a view, no point of updating, because Oracle will not know which table to update, right? For example, I'll just give you an example. Create view mm, employees who are managers, okay, or whatever. Just create table manager. No, that's not a good. So say create table where we need two columns. So here what we are doing from customers, right? Okay, so create view India senior citizens, okay, as select mm, we will have from two tables. One is customers, say CST, and country, say CNT. What all data we'll fetch from each other? We will fetch CST dot name, CST dot ID, and CNT dot name. Where what is the linking condition? CST. Okay, let's put here CNT ID. CNT ID and CNT name. CST ID dot country ID. I'll explain what I'm trying to do. It might be a little confusing to you. Let me complete this. Where CST dot country ID equals to CNT dot ID. And CST dot age greater than equal to 60. Okay. So we are now creating a view which is only for senior citizens in India. Okay. CNT India. Okay. So now this table, this our customers table had people had customers from different countries, but there was no uh, country name column in customers. That country name column is in, say, country table. Here we have a reference to the country table as country ID. Remember foreign key, primary key. Okay. So country ID in customers table is the foreign key, which refers ID column in the country key. So that is what I have written here, right? CST is the alias for customers. CNT is the alias for country. So CST.country ID equals to CNT.ID. And I want only the customer name of those people who are greater than or equal to age 60 and whose country name is India. Okay. So here I had to join two or whatever. I had to refer to two different tables to get my view done, right? So I cannot update this view. If I update whatever, what do you update? You update some column or you update some, yeah, you update some column in a table, right? If I update country ID or if I update country name, Oracle will not know which uh, table to access because we are having two different tables, right? It can be more than two. So long story short, only simple views can be updated. Complex views cannot be updated. Any view which accesses more than one table is a complex view. Okay. So these are the view. Increase the convenience in the coding by reusable codes. That means what I was telling you. You know that you have a particular report to run every day, and you expect overnight the data must have changed. So every day coming and you writing the same query doesn't make any sense. You can create that query as a view and run the select from the view every day, right? Views are used to hide the tables that actually contain data you are querying. Using views can restrict the number of columns. So you understand in OOPS concept, you must have studied OOPS concept, right? That abstraction, encapsulation, and all that. So data abstraction means hiding whatever is not necessary, right? So we create a view if and if someone has only read privilege in the view, he or she will not get to know what all tables are being accessed, right? But there are uh, some disadvantages to using a view also. In case of complex views, time taken is more than accessing the tables directly. So in case of very highly complex views, it will syntactically it will work, uh, but you rather have fetch the data from the tables directly. In case of use of joins, DML is not permitted, right? If you have joins in your view, you cannot have a DML operation. If you have in your view, if you have used joined here instead of in any join keyword, right? Left outer join, whatever, inner join, right outer join. If any join keyword is used in a view while creating the view, the insert update will not work in that. Uh, so this is we already discussed. In case of alters in the underlying table, for example, dropping or modifying of a column. In case of a DDL operation on the base table, the view is affected and becomes unreliable, unstable actually, right? If the column itself doesn't exist anymore, the view is becomes unstable, right? So that's about views. So that's all the time I had today. Hmm. Hmm. So what it'll have? It'll only have the structure, right? You can create force view without any data. It'll never fetch any data. It'll just have the structure. You can give some column names. That's all. Okay. We'll have more on this. Okay. We'll have more on this in the next class. From view, we'll start from this. I am actually running out of time. Okay. Okay. Just 2 minutes, Suresh. So tomorrow, what time you're